for helping in a very difficult moment. Especially when I shared that with my close friend, her father suddenly passed away because of COVID. And I share on what I learned from you to her, and it helped to calm her down on right that day as well. So yeah, I just want to say really thankful for your teaching. And that's how I feel. Thank you very much.
Sometimes the reality of life really confronts us in ways that unbearable. So those times we just avail ourselves to the suffering, open ourselves. We don't try to come up with solutions. We don't try to fix other people, fix ourselves. Just open our heart, let the suffering flow through. We're present to that. And by being present, fully allow these feelings to flow through us, and we have some inkling of how to be with other people. And that is the strength. That's the strength that we can provide. Nothing actually cures all the difficulties, but the strength from within to being able to avail ourselves to suffering, in the face of suffering, through suffering. If you can somehow, share that with your friends. I know now you're back, but there's a way to share that with your friends. That's the support that we can provide.
Understand. Thank you very much.
There are different kinds of it's a different kind of dana, giving, different kind of generosity. Of course, the very shallow ones, money, material things. The next thing, maybe some words of Buddha Dharma. But then what the Buddha said, what's really helpful for people is actually fearlessness, face of suffering. How do we do that? We ourselves avail ourselves to, we're present to it. Not identifying, not grasping. Allow these feelings and come back to the body and ground. Ground your body in the presence of suffering. That kind of fearlessness and strength will convey to others. So in interacting with others, they take part of that strength. And that will help them. It's something beyond words. But you do that, and all of you, everyone, do that with everything that we experience, sitting meditation, wandering thoughts, difficulties and so on, present to that. Relax and ground. That subtle, stable presence. Learn how to do that. How are your parents? Your parents are healthy?
Yes, my parents are okay, but I haven't met them for more than 3 years. I can feel they are much older, as how I feel from them 3 years ago. So yeah, I'm so very glad to see them again as well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You told them you love them?
Yes, I did told them. I seldom hug them before, but this time when I go back and when I leave, I really want to hug them, and I just hug them.
Excellent. I know in Chinese culture, people don't usually do that, but
Yeah.
it's important. It's important.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Michelle, you doing all right?
I'm well. I'm well, thank you. I had an infection in my throat, and I can feel I'm nervous, very nervous speaking in this group. So I can hear my voice has gone very quiet and very childlike. So I apologize. I'm feeling a bit nervous.
Okay. Relax. Relax. It's okay. 思佳.
Hi, Shifu. I prepared a very technical question to you today, but we can talk a bit on the social issue.
Okay.
Yes. And with Jung, we have an idea to elaborate the technique a bit more. We want to do breathing this year more. So that's why I brought some method question. So, but we will see. Thank you, Shifu.
Krishna, how are you, sir?
I'm well, thank you. Yeah, I haven't been able to come for a few months because I've had other commitments, but I'm glad to be back. Thank you.
Glad to have you back. You're in London?
Yes, I'm in London. Yeah.
Excellent. Hey, Anna, are you there? Ashley? Oh, Anna, how are you?
I'm okay. Just also reflecting Viola a bit because I was since practicing last with you in the summer. You asked me to ground my emotions more. And I've been trying to, and then maybe a breakthrough more recently, late last year, to settle myself a lot more, which is interesting because this month was a very heavy month where I lost an auntie very suddenly from pneumonia, flu, and then gone. I did not even COVID in space of 2 days. I haven't suddenly last Sunday had a stroke and then is in ICU. And I've been visiting almost every day and supporting my cousin. And the layout and everything was exactly the same as when my mother was in hospital, everything. But I was reflecting that my emotional state was different since the grounding. I was able, like you were mentioning, just be there for my cousin. I didn't need to say much, but I think I could feel just being there for them helped.
Excellent.
And it was good. It was good for them. So it's and then also my piano teacher is now in a care home and deteriorating. So it's quite an interesting month, but I'm grateful for my practice to keep myself grounded and through this period.
Yeah. And someday you'll go through it too. That's the reality. This is life. There's nothing more precious than our practice.
Yes.
Everything else is just death, sickness, aging all around us. What is it that's animating all this? You know, it's a fundamental investigation. You know, we have to, nothing we can think through, read about. Even when we relax and ground, that experiencing, what is it? What is this experience? Gives us a perspective and prioritize what's important. Not to, you know, lock ourselves up to meditation retreat all day, but to offer this life for others. What needs to be done? What can be done? Okay. Ashley, how are you feeling today?
I'm sick, but
Still
I'm
sick?
glad to be here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming, despite the fact that you're sick.
It's all good.
Okay. Zara, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
No. Zara's sick too. Your throat hurts, just chill, relax, and listen. Hassan, how are you, sir?
Hi, Guo Gu. Thank you. I'm fine. Nice to see you.
See you.
Thank you.
You're on the retreat online, right?
Yes, I was. Yes,
Yeah.
I was. Thank you.
How did you feel about the retreat? Is it strange?
No, it was so nice. But
Birds swimming in the ocean and fish flying in the sky.
yeah. But I felt myself recently struggling with more existential things in my life. I mean, all my life I was after happiness and success and doing this good and being perfect about this and that. But recently they don't mean anything to me. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of a weird feeling. I just feel I want to know the source of my being. I don't want to be a good person. I don't want to be a bodhisattva. I don't want to be someone nice, but go more deeper into my being.
Feelings. They come
I
and
think
go.
these are more than feelings. Sorry to interrupt you. It's not really feeling. It's something to do with my soul, not something sentimental. Yes.
And so, what are you doing about it?
Actually, I decided to do nothing.
Doing nothing is something.
Yeah.
So
I'm tired of
doing nothing.
searching and looking around.
What's that?
I said, I am tired of doing something and searching.
Yeah.
So I decided to do nothing.
Did you quit your job or something?
No.
Okay. Don't quit your job.
Yeah.
All right, keep looking. Keep looking at this nothing.
Yeah, I think that's the answer, where the answer lies for me. Not doing this and that or searching this and that. And looking at that video, this video, I think it's very tiring and it's like a vicious cycle. So I just quit everything for the moment.
Thank you for coming here.
Yeah, nice to see you.
This is something here.
Yeah, something that my heart wants to be.
Okay. Okay. Bing Bing.
Good.
Okay. Conrad, how are you, sir?
I've been a long time. I have been away, so it takes me some time to get into this group again. And the other thing is, English is not my native language, so I have to listen to you for a while to get into this language. But if you ask me, normally everybody's saying, "Oh, everything is fine and good." For me, it means don't ask me further. And in my age, I'm over 80 years old. I meet my friends in funerals. And you see this feeling of getting more and more isolated from the present world, because this present world is not my world anymore. That gives me a chance to think about what I have to do and how to embrace it.
Yes.
It's a good situation, so I can't say it's not a bad situation to be in, to grow up and get older and die someday. I had my first infarct already, so I'm waiting what's coming up.
You ready to embrace? How are you embracing it?
You see, I just had a discussion with some people, asking them, what are you doing when you're sitting and a fly is on your nose? Do you think, oh, I am a stone, I don't have to move? Or do you think, hi, fly, I embrace you?
Ask me that question.
What are you doing when the fly is sitting on your nose by sitting?
Good to see you.
Sorry?
It's good to see you.
I'm also, yes. And I'm very glad to listen to your teachings or sayings.
Listening is not so useful, though. Seeing is not so useful either. What use is that?
Sorry?
What use? What use is just seeing and listening?
Oh, it's different from every people. Every person is different. It's not only one view of seeing and listening. Every person has his own
Of course.
possibility.
For me, it's that connection that I feel with you.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
So I appreciate that.
Me too. Thank you.
Okay. Now we can get on to the boring questions.
Okay. Thank you, Guo Gu. The first boring question comes from Sijia.
Is there a knife? Is there a little tiny knife behind that statement? Take away the knife.
No, I just picked up what you said. No, Sijia's question is the first one on the list. Would you like me to read it, Sijia, or would you like to explain it yourself?
Let me do it myself.
thank you, Guo Gu, for the advice to Viola to say I love you. So since you're all my witness, I want to say I love you to Tingqin. I'm so sorry for hurting you. And I know you love me too. Really miss you so much. Hope to see you again. I'm sorry. Okay, now I try to ask the question.
Before you ask the question,
I
want to say something about that. Before you ask the question, is that okay? Okay. I said, I love you. I asked Viola to see if she said that to her parents, because I know she doesn't. It's just not part of the culture, especially for her parents' generation. Haven't seen them in 3 years. I asked her whether she did that and whether she hugged them. That's a very different I love you coming out of your mouth, okay? Where you have it all the time. Every time you bump into a person, your porcupine spines hurt someone, you say, oh, I love you, I love you. That's different. It's different. So you have to find a way. For you, you have to find your way. Not to say that, and to show it without words. That would be helpful. Without words. And I don't mean next time you see Yingqing, just start hugging people. Without words. And it's not something that we can strategize and look outside. You have to go inside to find that answer. Right? So first thing, you have to, without words, you have to find a way to love yourself, to accept. And you have to have a discipline in meditation practice. Okay? That will be a grounding every day. You have an appointment with yourself and you're grounded. Okay? That goes for everyone. Everyone. Every day. Must have that. Must have this. Okay, now you can share your question, please.
A very technical question. After I do the relaxation and I want to use breath counting specifically, and when the focus here is somehow very, very, very subtle, very difficult to find. I read the book in Silent Illumination. You said put the awareness on the abdomen. But if I put on the abdomen, I go through to silent illumination. It is very difficult to go to counting. And so this is one technical point. And the question is how to do the counting. And there is another thing I was reading on the Six Gate again. And there is this describing of counting or following. I don't know which one. It's called this 16 states, like 16特胜. 16特胜. I don't know how to translate it. 16 status. It's kind of contemplation of the breath, and you teach it once about the short, the depth, and the length of the breath. But that is not so easy. It's kind of contrived. So I think this kind of contemplation, 16 state within the breathing, it must go on a very stable counting method, and then maybe go to the contemplation. So these are two technical questions.
Okay. first question about counting. If you are still engaging, counting the breath, then the concentration is, and the concentration and the breath is not subtle enough to go to the abdomen. Yeah. So counting the breath is for a mind that's very distracted, a mind that's discursive. Itself is a method that's kind of minimized abstraction. It's discursive, the method. So the way I encourage people to practice when their mind is very distracted, they can count. And when they get to a stage in which their mind is concentrated, naturally they will feel that this numbering again and again is contrived, 刻意造作. That's a sign that the mind wants to rest on something simple. The mind, the mental state, and the method must match. If the mind is very scattered, the method has to be more complicated in order to be effective. Now, if the mind is already settled, concentrated, not too much wandering thought, and has to generate the numbers in a contrived way, the first practitioner will feel effortful, like an unnecessary thing. That's a sign that the mind is ready for a more refined method, non-conceptual method. So at that time, one should drop the numbers. Stay with the breath here. Just the tactile, embodied experiencing of sensations. If the sensations fade in such a way that, because they will, sense of coolness and warmth will start to fade, leaving one with just a sense of maybe silkiness of the breath, or just the presence of going in and out. If it's too subtle, the mind needs to sharpen at that stage. And even after that, if the object of meditation is not too clear, then one drop the meditation on the breath here and go down to the rise and fall of the abdomen, just the presence of the abdomen. Okay. And if the rise and fall is too subtle, then go to the left palm. When you're sitting like this, go to the left palm. Just the presence of the palm, sensations there. That should be there. At that time, the upper body shouldn't feel anything. It's like as if there, as if not there. But the left palm is there. Okay. And if the left palm, the hands disappear, go to the silent illumination, just sitting. Because what is present, what is actually present, is the embodied experiencing of sitting. So the way I teach is, it's grounded in what is actually there, not one generates in abstraction. So when the mind is scattered, use abstraction. When the mind is concentrated, something concrete, sensations here. Sensations start to disappear, right? Ground to something that's prevalent, dominant, experiencing. And what is that? Rise and fall of the abdomen. Rise and fall disappears, upper body disappears, go to the hand. You know what I'm saying? So the body is always experiencing something that's what is actually here. Right? So the mind and the reality of this moment is always together. The mind stays in the present. So if you're doing counting the breath, that's stage 1. Okay? Stage 1. Just stay with the breath. When you stay with the breath, counting the breath, it doesn't matter which location the breath is, just the numbering. Right? If you count to 3, there is no 4, there is no 2, just 3. It's just the presence of 3. And then if you're still aware that exhalation happens, then there's a 4. When you count to 4, the whole world is 4. Past, future, present. There's not a single thing except 4. Let alone your body. There's no body, it's just 4. Okay? When you count to 5, it's just 5. Yeah. And when the breath doesn't come, right? It doesn't come, you count to 5. There's no exhalation. And there's no wandering thought. You either stay with 5 or you drop the number. You go to no sensation. What is that experiencing of no sensations? Then you discover, there's still sensations here. So you drop the counting. And then you proceed on to what I was talking about before. Okay? First question. Second question, 16 aspects of contemplation on the breath. This refers to 4 times 4. 4 times 4. What's the 4? 4 noble truth. Experiencing of suffering. The cause of suffering. Cessation. And the actual method. So the 16 contemplation, it's not something that my teacher taught it, but not something that he really relies on. So there are ever deepening states of contemplation on the breath based on the ever deepening levels of perception, understanding of the 4 noble truths in an embodied experiencing way. Okay, so this is a method that's articulated in the Abhidharma, Theravada tradition. They still uses it. But the Mahayana tradition, they don't really use it. The early stage of Chinese Mahayana, yes. It's supplanted by the Tian Tai teaching on meditation on the breath. Right. So 6 gates to the Subline. I've given a class on that. So with each of these 6 gates, there are several approaches to practice. You can ask Sarah. I think they're online, some course online. For me to talk about the 16 aspects of 4 noble truths applied to meditation on the breath, not interested. It takes too long, and it's not necessary. Okay, it's a very gradualistic, sequential way of practicing till one reaches after the 16, 暖, 顶, 忍, 是第一, is warm, which is the entry of the 4 saintly holy stages, stream entry. Peak, 顶, like 头顶, that is reaching the pinnacle right before the stream entry. And then patience, endurance. That's the next stage, past All this is beyond the 616 aspect, reaching finally to 是第一 foremost in samsara, I guess. All these stages are just, from the Chan perspective, it's just, the mind has no stages. It's just constructs, like cookie crumbs, signposts for people to kind of follow. And then because they're from Abhidharma is a scholastic strand within early Buddhism. That scholasticism has a life of its own. Meaning that it's a kind of prescriptive, it's just Buddhist academia, you know. From Chan perspective, they have departed from the reality of the experiential Dharma. It developed into its own kind of world of typology, categorization, and stages, and it's just. So, is it necessary for one to know that in order to be free? No. Otherwise, everyone has to be a scholar in order to practice Buddhism. Even among the Buddha's disciples, some of his disciples are just low intelligence. Chulapantaka, low intelligence, became a great arhat. He doesn't know the Abhidharma stuff. All that stuff's not necessary. All he knew, Chulapantaka, was, I sweep the dust from my mind ground. And he realized that there's no sweeping. Just moving dirt from one end to the other. It's the same. The mind is already clean. Then he became an arhat. So that's a quick answer to the 16 contemplations.
Okay. Thank you, Guo Gu. And then the next question is James' question about beauty. Is this, James, your question? We can't hear you. Would you like to unmute yourself?
Well, basically, I remember the part, the what is beauty part, but I don't remember the rest of the question. Well, how it relate.
You kind of said, if I could read out what you said.
Sure.
The question is, what is beauty? What role does beauty play in Dharma?
Where's the question coming from, James?
My experience. I sense beauty. I feel it in my heart and my experience when I hear sometimes music or see art or experience or create something or feel that, or it comes from my heart. It comes from the heart. I can't explain. There's no real words. I just experience it. It's direct experience. It came from a place where one of my musicians who I love dearly passed away, and I loved his music brought beauty to my life. And listening to the music it wasn't like Proust feeling like some kind of eating a cookie or something, feeling like all this experiential. There weren't any really associations. I just felt that experience of kind of like a direct contemplation of his experience or my own. And like when it's just the word, but it's the experience. I can't explain it, but sometimes I just feel, I sense, I experience beauty, and it can be in something that isn't your standardized thing. I can see even in death, there's just a sense of suchness or beauty in it. And I'm getting older and I'm feeling more of it. I'm experiencing more beauty in life. So that's where I'm coming from.
Well, that's beautiful.
And it has to do with impermanence a lot too. That thing's passing. It's beauty. That's beauty. So, you know, maybe that's the gift that Conrad was talking about that we're getting. Because I'm not quite up there, but I'm getting there. And so, yeah.
Well, you've answered your own question.
Okay. Well. Okay. Next question.
Beauty is everywhere. Not the word beauty, but that experiencing of that connectedness, the intimacy, meaningfulness. When we avail ourselves to what is.
I guess another word was wonder and awe, which I hear a number of Zen teachers speak of exact experience. So, yeah.
May I ask how old you are?
I'm going to be 68 next month.
You're still young.
Yeah.
So the next question is from Michelle, and it is about the understanding of what understanding is and how it works. Would you like to elaborate, Michelle?
Guo Gu, I can't pronounce your name yet, and dear Sangha. I realize this is a theoretical question, and I was just thinking maybe this was the wrong place to ask it, the wrong context. I feel I need a theoretical working understanding of the Western concept of understanding for my work, for my therapeutic work. And I'm just now realizing that even if I receive or begin to receive or begin to explore a Chan understanding or definition of understanding, that might not be as you know, but having said that, I intuit that even if I explore a Chan understanding of understanding, I do believe that I will find a way to integrate the Chan way of understanding what understanding is. I do believe I will find a way to integrate that with the Western concept and theory that I myself formulate and create for myself and for my work. If that makes any sense, I hope that makes some sense.
Understanding is humility. It's not knowing. It's a simple answer. When we feel we know something, we don't understand. It's probably very different than Western theoretical therapeutic model. So a Chan perspective is non-discursive. It's a kind of internal transformation. So that the more one practice, humble, humility. Whether you can integrate that to a Western theoretical model, I don't know. Maybe. Sometimes good therapists, they're very receptive. They're not there to teach people or fix people. They're present. They have a sense of humility. They open themselves. Because of that, people, patients or whoever, they begin to heal. So that's a way to integrate. I don't know.
Thank you for that very beautiful definition of understanding, Guo.
That's all the questions we have for today, and we have 3 minutes left. Does anyone have a super quick question to ask? Goodbye, Louisa. So if not, maybe we'll draw an end here. Guo Gu, today is the Chinese New Year's Eve. Would you like to say a few words to all of us on this important day?
Every day is a good day. Every day is New Year. Take care of yourself. Love yourself. Love those around you. Bye.
Take care, everyone. Happy Chinese New Year.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you.